Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Fast Horses Today. This is Sunday, May 5th, the day after the Derby. In all of the shows I close with wishing you good luck, wishing you good trips, and good trips equal good luck, and that makes for good racing. And boy, did that come true in the Derby. The winner, who was Mystic Dan, didn't have him, didn't like him. Boy, did he have a great trip in the Derby. Moses parted the Red Sea, slipped along the rail, didn't have to hesitate one iota, and that really made all the difference in the world, where you had the 11 and the 2, knuckling it out down the stretch, bumping each other and probably costing each other the race. But, it's a game of inches at times, and, good trips are always a key. So, anyway, that was the Derby. So we'll turn the page, as all great horse players do. You got to turn the page. Forget about what happened yesterday. Today is the day. Just like a great quarterback forgets about that terrible interception, and the great cornerback forgets about getting torched, for a touchdown, and has to come back and make plays for his team. So we're going to try to make plays today. So we've got Oaklawn Park. Oaklawn Park, this is their final day of their meet. So we're going to bid a fond farewell to Oaklawn for the meet. We got a nice card. Problem is there's a lot of rain happening in Oaklawn right now. It's been raining there for the last couple hours and looks to be raining. So this is a sloppy track. We're going to try. We got a couple pick fives here. They got a mid pick five in the 5th race and a pick 5 in the 7th race. So we're going to go with both of them here. Play 2 pick fives, and then I've got a win bet that I like. I've got a horse that hinges both of those pick 5. So let's get started in the 5th race. This 5th race is a mile race, maiden special weight. So these are some nice horses. $115,000 purse, always a nice thing. I've got 2 horses I want to start this off with. The first one being Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge ran one time in the slop at 6 furlongs. Didn't have the greatest of starts, but I thought he ran on very well and showed a good account of himself. And, as we've talked about all meeting long, horses that are trying 2 turns, like Charlie Whittingham said one time, if you want to see your horse, if your horse can go 2 turns, you try the horse at Oaklawn at a mile or try him at Santa Anita at a mile. If they can't do it there, then they're just probably not a distance horse. So this horse is trying a mile. I think it should be a good test. And the horse, 2-1 the program. No secret there. Now we've got the 8 horse, who is Mount Craig. Mount Craig's been running for a while. As 14 starts, comes into money a lot, 9 times in the money out of 14. This horse has definitely had chances at different distances and a couple different tracks. Has run all right at Oaklawn. I just give this horse a shot here in a field of younger horses. He's 5 now. I think that Mount Craig, should, give a good account of himself at 6-1. So we've got the 4 and the 8 to get this started. Let's move over to the 6th race. 6th race is a starter allowance race, 6 furlongs. Pretty good, evenly matched field. I've got 3 horses I want to get this started with, or get this progressed with. I've got the 3 horse, who is Wide Awake. Wide Awake has been running with some better horses, giving a good account of himself. So I think at 7-2, Barbosa, the light apprentice, coming in on the horse should help. And I've got the 7 horse, who is League of Legends. Putting this horse in for one reason. The horse has run okay, but today is the final day of John Court's career as a jockey. John Court, it was referenced earlier in the week. John Court is going to be retiring today. His first mount ever was back in 1981 at Oaklawn Park, and he had said that he'd like to go out at Oaklawn Park. So Court has a few mounts today earlier in the card that I'm not playing, but I'm going to put the 7 here, League of Legends. This is his last race of his career. And sometimes we see that happen where, these guys get to go out on top. So, I'm going to put League of Legends in here at 20-1 for John Court. And, bid you a fond farewell, John Court. You've been a really, really strong rider for a long time. You've run at different tracks. And, it's been nice to see you, hone your craft and do it for a long time. So best of luck to you. Then I also got the 9 here, who's Top Gunner. Top Gunner's the favorite at 9-5. Certainly fits very well in this race, and could end up with a big win here. Has run on a wet track, so it should be fine. So we've got the 3, the 7, and the 9 here. So let's go over to the 6th race. No, I'm sorry. We've got the 7th race here, which is a $140,000 allowance race. They run those glorious purses there at Oaklawn. So this 7th race is the 3rd leg of the mid pick 5, and then this is the start of the late pick 5 as well, which starts in the 7th race. So this is a overlap here. So in this race, it's 6 furlongs here. I've got 4 horses that I'm going to put in. I'm going to put the 3 Plausible Denial, who I've liked this horse in the past. Last time I bet this horse to win, I don't know, the horse just didn't get out of the gate and was very far back. Ricardo Santana lingered back of the field and made a move, but wasn't close to winning. I'm going to give this horse another shot here. This is his 3rd race off a layoff, so it could be best in his form cycle, 9-2 with Santana. Then I've got the 7 horse, who is Excitable Boy, Francisco Arrieta. This horse has run some nice races at Oaklawn, so certainly fits here. And I've got the 8, who is Risk It. Keith Asmussen riding for his dad. That's 7-2. And then the 9 horse, who is Henro. Henro comes off a race, pretty tough trip for Henro last time. And, I had mentioned Harry Hernandez in previous shows that I thought Harry Hernandez was all right, but Harry Hernandez was giving some questionable rides to horses, and this was one of them. He got off slow with this horse in the rail, kind of pushed up, bumped around, ended up getting disqualified. Finished 2nd last time in this level and was DQ'd out of the 2nd place finish. They put Bejarano on the horse, so, it makes me think they're serious. Bejarano's been riding well at the Oaklawn meet. So we've got the 3, the 7, the 8, and the 9. Okay, now let's move over to the next race. Next race is the 8th race, and here's where I've got my single that I like today, and I'm also going to make a win bet here, and this is to hinge on both pick 5 tickets. So this race is an allowance race, another glorious $140,000 purse at 1 1/16. And, there's some nice horses here, but I'm going to single the 6, Give Me a Reason. Now, I've been on this horse for the last 3 times this horse has run. Resulted in a win. Actually, the last 4 times, one of them was last year. But anyway, this horse has a win at Oaklawn in the maiden ranks at 1 1/16. Had an inside post that day, so saved ground and got there. Tyler Gaffleone got there by a nose. Then the next 2 races, this horse was in allowance company. Was caught out wide, hung out wide both times, ran a very similar trip with Ricardo Santana, and, was right there in the stretch and just kind of gassed out, because I think the horses did a lot of running early on and was, hung out pretty wide on the first turn, which is usually not a good thing here. This horse draws the 6 hole today, and I don't think this horse should be hung out wide again today. So it's all really kind of hinges on Ricardo Santana giving this horse a good trip. He's ridden this horse the last 2 times, so I think that he's probably learned something. Ricardo, get this horse out, get an inside trip, and this horse will finish. I think this horse is a runner. 4-1 today. We'll see what the price is, but I'm going to single Give Me a Reason and also make a win bet on Give Me a Reason. Then we're going to go to the next race, which is the 9th race. 1 1/16 is another allowance race, $140,000 race. And I've got 3 horses here to try to cap off this first pick 5 and then, to advance the second pick 5. So we've got the 6, who is Southern Sunset. Southern Sunset has run, was in pretty good form. Won a couple claiming races pretty nicely with some, decent figures. And, shows some good running on the slop. Is 2 for 2 in the slop. Has run well at Oaklawn. So I give this horse a chance in a field that, for a $140,000 allowance race is not really a tough field. It seems like people must have just left Oaklawn, left the area. Their meet's ending, and, they didn't have a lot to choose from here in this last day of racing. So, good luck to someone, because they'll pick up a nice $140,000 purse in an allowance race that's really not that strong. So I've got the 6, who is Southern Sunset, 10-1. I think this horse has run with some good horses. Beat Ben Franklin, who Ben Franklin's a nice horse. And then I've got the 7 here, who is Record Point. Record Point is 5-2 with Bejarano as the program favorite. This horse ran a big race last time, running second to Alexander Helios, who I had given out that day and bet that horse. And Alexander Helios was really, really ready to go that day and ran a big race. This horse gave him a lot of heat on the front end and really, gave him a tough time in the stretch. So came second to Alexander Helios. I expect this horse to run well today in a field that is less than what he ran last time. So got the 7, pardon me, and then the 12 horse, who is St. Andrews with Paco Lopez. So Paco Lopez shows up today at Oaklawn, has a few mounts. We saw Paco do well last time he rode at Oaklawn. He won 2 races in one day. So Paco's there, always a dangerous rider and knows how to get it done. It wins at so many different tracks around the country, during the course of a year. So St. Andrews is 10-1. That's the 12 horse. We've got the 6, the 7, and the 12. So let's recap this first pick 5 that starts in the 5th race. I've got the 4-8 with the 3-7-9 with the 3-7-8-9 with the single of Give Me a Reason in the 8th race and a win bet there with the 6, 7, and the 12. So that ticket comes out to be $36 in the mid pick 5. Okay? So then let's go over to the late pick 5, which starts in the 7th race. Okay? And we've got the 3, 7, 8, 9 with the single of the 6, which is Give Me a Reason. And then in the 9th race, we just went over that, the 6, 7, and the 12. Now let's go over to the 10th race, which is the feature of the day. That's the Lake Ouachita. It was a $200,000 race, mile and a 16th, so it was a black type race. They fielded a nice bunch of horses for this race, tough bunch, mile and a 16th, running for $200,000. So I've got the 1 who is Law Professor. Now Law Professor has raced at Oaklawn in the past, is 0 for 2 with the 3rd. So, not sure if the horse can say if he likes it or doesn't like it, but certainly likes a sloppy track. Three wins out of 4 on a slop track, and this horse been running in Aqueduct his last couple starts, running with some big speed figures and winning. So, pardon me, Law Professor looks tough here with Christian Torres at 3-1. Then I've got the 7 horse, who is Nautical Star. Nautical Star for Chris Hartman and Rafael Bejarano. This horse likes the sloppy track, 2 wins out of 3 starts. I like this horse's last race. This horse tried 2 turns for the first time, and as we've referenced, if you want to try 2 turns, you try it at Oaklawn. This horse tried it in the Oaklawn Mile, which is a grade 3, and horse had a tough trip, was broke from the rail and got kind of sawed off on that first turn. Had some trouble there, but also ran on to come in 3rd. Ran with Silver Prospector, who's in this race. I don't like Silver Prospector today, but I'm going to give Nautical Star another chance here, 12-1. Then we've got the 8 horse, who is Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin, who I've talked about Ben Franklin in the past. Ben Franklin's a really nice horse, has had a nice meet here at Oaklawn Park, for Kenny McPeak, which... I'm sure the McPeak barn is basking in the glow of what they accomplished over the past weekend at Churchill Downs. But, they might just be adding, the Lake Ouachita stakes to their resume over the weekend. So they've got Ben Franklin here, who is the 8 horse with Francisco Arrieta. So that's the 1, 7, and 8 I've got in the 10th race. Now let's go to the 11th race. Now the 11th race, it's a traditional meet ender for Oaklawn. This is their starter allowance at 1 3/4, the Happy Trails, or the Trails End, I think is what they call it, the Trails End. This is a $125,000 purse, so it's certainly nothing to sneeze at for a starter allowance. And they run 1 3/4, so they started from their 6 furlong, usual 6 furlong start, come around and go around again. So long race to a long meet. I've got 4 horses in this race. To cap off the pick 4, the pick 5, the last pick 5. So I've got the 1 who is Big Paper. Now, Big Paper gave this horse out last, and this horse ran on a good track and won at a nice price at 7-1. Big Paper today is 4-1 in the program. I think this horse is, fits in here. certainly the distance shouldn't be a problem here. Not that the horse ever run 1.75 miles. Nobody really does. But this horse, the breeding says this horse should like a long race. So the mother I know was a very royally bred horse. Surprise is welcome. She cost a lot of money herself. So there's certainly some royalty there in this breeding of this horse. So Big Paper is nice here at 4-1. Then I've got the 7, who is Poulterer. Now, Poulterer has kind of run through the series of starter allowance races that they have at Oaklawn at different distances. This horse has certainly done a nice job, has won 3 times at a mile, and has also run second at a mile and 3/16. So ran in this series, which kind of leads up to this race. I just don't know. I don't know if the horse wants to run 1.75 miles. So, we'll put the horse in there at 2-1, but also certainly the horse can get beaten because I don't know if this horse wants to run that long. So we got the 7. Then I've got the 9 horse, who is Indian Gulch. Indian Gulch at 10-1 for the Thomas Van Berg barn. That's why I'm putting this horse in, is because of Thomas Van Berg. Thomas Van Berg's a great trainer, very capable trainer. Is from the family of Marion Van Berg and Jack Van Berg, so the apple didn't fall far from the tree with Tom. And also, what I noticed about Tom Van Berg is that he does really well with long-distance races. So he just must have a long-distance training methodology in his barn. And this horse, 10-1, has run it at Oaklawn, has done well, has 3 wins there, has done well on sloppy tracks, has run at long distances. So I'll give this horse a shot at 10-1. And then finally the 12 horse, who is Truculent. Truculent, has made a career at Oaklawn, has done a lot of running at Oaklawn, has done some damage there with 3 wins, 3 seconds, 3/3 out of 13 starts. Has run in races like this. Manny Esquivel on the horse at 6-1. So this horse certainly could figure at this starter allowance group. So let's go and recap this second ticket, which starts in the 7th race. So the 7th race, we've got 3, 7, 8, 9 with the 6, who is Give Me a Reason. That's my single, and that's my win bet. With 6, 7, 12. With 1, 7, 8. With 1, 7, 9, 12 in the Trails End, which closes out the meet at Oaklawn. That's a $72 ticket. So we've got the first pick 5 is a $36 ticket. The second pick 5 is a $72 ticket. And then a win bet on Give Me a Reason in the 8th race. So let's bid this a great farewell to Oaklawn. And then we'll be back next week, possibly with Santa Anita, and then just maybe some horse talk. But thank you so much for listening. Have a good one, and good luck to you. Good luck, good trips, and good racing.